What was the last game that genuinely made you happy? I'm guessing that your brain is flashing through a ton of memories right now, and I'm willing to bet that many of them are not very positive. Maybe you're thinking of the time you ran into a cheater, the one night you set aside time to play that week. Maybe you played a game that just decided it hates you and put up a crazy difficulty spike that isn't fun to circumvent. Maybe you matched against Justin Wong online.
I'm done playing now.
Yes, you still love all of these games, you persevere through the stuff that you hate because of that love. But, have you guys ever played a game that makes you smile all the time? Not just sometimes, every time you turn it on and for the entire time you're playing. I think we all know that searching for unconditional joy is a fool's errand, but I recently got around to playing two games that, in spite of their flaws and against all odds, have managed to bring me closer to this feeling than most games could ever hope to, and I think that they can do the same to you. Katamari Damacy and its sequel, We Love Katamari, are PlayStation 2 games from 20 years ago. Meaning no matter how ubiquitous I think they are for video games, I still have to tell you what they are anyways, because... Look, I'm sorry, his ass is not getting into Fortnite. It's the roll everything you see up into a ball game. You control the Katamari with your thumbsticks, and you're this little green guy, and oh, okay, I'll take the way that you just perked up as a sign that you have in fact seen this before. Good, that makes me happy. Personally, I've always known of these games myself, but I never owned a PS2, so it took the re-releases that are available on every platform, wink wink, to get me to play them. Looking at the footage, you might be thinking to yourself, oh, I get the idea, the simple gameplay loop and all the pretty colors make you feel good, and that's the end of the video. Well, sorry, but that is an insane oversimplification of the crazy effects that these games have on people's brains, dude. I'm gonna have you convinced by the end of this video, trust me, this is gonna be sick. Exhibit A is what I can only describe as the nuanced artistry of the gameplay, because I want you all to think that I'm smart. I believe a great way to make someone feel happy is to make them feel like they've accomplished something. And this is a philosophy that's baked into the very core of this game. Where do I even begin? So, every level inexplicably feels like you're going through the hero's journey. You start small and unaware of what's going on, but soon grow into this massive force to be reckoned with by weathering difficult challenges and changing along the way. Be it through altering your game plan or through the literal physical ball that keeps growing in size. This creates a sense of empowerment. You go from rolling up stuff like thumbtacks and erasers into something capable of rolling up gods in these crazy snowball moments where you're just swallowing everything. And at the end of every level, these games make sure to show you what you've done. Because rolling up a Katamari gives you this simple, tangible thing that you can look at and say, hey, I made that. That was all me. The feeling of control you have when playing these games is genuine, even if it might feel hollow. Because usually when people discuss self-efficacy or a feeling of autonomy while playing games, it stems from overcoming a harsh challenge. If you're like me and you love binge-watching videos titled something along the lines of Dark Souls saved me, you know exactly what I'm talking about. These games almost trick you into developing the internal locus of control you crave by having you prove to yourself that you can overcome any obstacle. But with Katamari, these games are super easy. I mean, the campfire levels are kind of annoying, and the ghost one took a little bit to get the hang of, but compared to the average video game, the level of challenge is on the lower end. Sure, it might feel good to roll everything up and create that gigantic trophy, but if you feel like you haven't really tried or earned it, then what's the point, right? Well, see, they get to have their cake and eat it too. The easy mission objectives create a low skill floor so anyone can enjoy the game. And from there, they give you the challenge you're looking for by making you compete with yourself. They keep track of every little thing you do, how big your Katamari got, how fast you completed the objective, and what specific objects were in it. And all of these stats are what proudly populate the night sky, as if the game is daring you to try and make the view even prettier. That's not the end of it. They encourage this kind of play in so many little ways. The first game has an achievement that requires you to roll up every single object in the game, and that's the one that I don't have, because you have to run through each level several times in order to get them all. In We Love Katamari, characters will frequently flag you down and ask you to try and break your old records, and once you beat a level, they'll be like, oh wow, that's pretty cool, but it's not as big as I wanted it, just kind of pushing you to do even better next time. And I absolutely adore this because the playstyle they're encouraging works. I proved that to myself while recording footage for this video. Level after level, I was demolishing my old records because whether I knew it or not, just playing through these levels several times made me a lot better at this weird little skill. Mind you, I was screwing around a lot of the time looking for cousins and presents because I wanted to get every achievement for this video. Like, I wasn't even going for high scores. I was just better at the game and that felt really good. Like, linking the first flame and then hearing Nameless Song good. Like, hunting Fatalis for the first time good. And the more I see the game nudge me along this journey of self-improvement, the more I think to myself that this being an accident is impossible. When you first start playing the game, the comfort of achievement comes from the fact that even though you're getting pushed around by a bunch of bigger objects and you're probably slamming into a bunch of walls and losing all your stuff, you're still progressing through the game, you're still completing your objectives, and you're still improving. And after you overcome that hurdle, that sense of euphoria and control still doesn't leave you because, look at how much better you've gotten. Look at how much faster you made the Katamari. Look at how big it is. You did that. You're amazing. You can do anything. This is the feeling that recording this stupid ball rolling game gave me, and I can't praise it enough for that. Now, based on the footage of these games that you've been watching and what I've been saying about them, you probably think that these are those like feel-good, cozy kind of games that for whatever reason you need a wiki open at all times in order to play properly. And sure, it is a feel-good experience, but there's this other side to it, a deeply cynical edge that really grounds it in reality, which I believe to be one of its greatest and most unsung strengths. The average Joe who plays this game never really thinks about it, nor are they expected to. But from what these two games tell us, this is the story of a neglectful and abusive father who is making the exact same mistakes that his dad made with him by forcing his son to clean up after his reckless actions. This is accompanied by the fact that the whole franchise was conceived as Keita Takahashi's critique of consumerism. And the very fact that Katamari is a franchise now ironically flies in the face of everything that the original game had to say, which makes its message all the more depressing. You want to know why I'm not talking about any of the other games today? Because Takahashi had nothing to do with them. Speaking of Takahashi, this 2009 Eurogamer article on an interview with him is what put us all in the loop of what this game's really about. Link in the description, it's a good read. And I noticed while reading that Takahashi's words are, well, they aren't happy. I mean, like, look here, he literally says, "I wasn't happy." He said playing Katamari made him feel sad. He was hoping to create a game that critiqued consumer culture, but he ended up making one where the more objects were in the world, the better he felt. But then when he was rolling them all up, he just felt empty inside. Beyond that, he agreed with Ghibli man Miyazaki himself when he said that children these days aren't playing, they're just consuming. They don't make their own fun or use their imagination, it's just interacting with product 24/7. The more I read this guy's thoughts and the more I listen to him on podcasts, the more I think that he's a very brilliant and creative man who struggles far too often with the restrictions and lack of autonomy of the real world. But it always seems like these frustrations are what pushed him to create games like Katamari Damacy, a game about giving the player control while echoes of the oppressive real world are still felt. The themes surrounding this game are quite heavy, complicated, and not really fun to talk about. And while the creator may have thought that this was a bad thing, as many of the games that he's made since are exceedingly joyous and positive, I much prefer Katamari's way of doing things, because like I said, it feels grounded. Honestly, I find it very hard to fully immerse myself in a piece of media that's all sunshine and rainbows. The escapism games give me are ironically so much stronger when their ideas are rooted in reality and come from a personal place, which I hope I've shown to you is 100% the case for Katamari. Something like K-On! Is a good example of the other side of this. It is by far the best at what it tries to accomplish, but it will never be a show that I can be fully absorbed by because I can't convince myself that the problems these characters face are real. The world around them is far too welcoming and kind for that. Yin and yang, you gotta balance yourself out. If a character experiences euphoric happiness, undercut it with extreme sadness. If you make a happy and colorful game, make sure the ideas it presents are rooted in something poignant and tangible. I love when learning more about a piece of media and why it was made really enriches your experience with it. Take this example from the first game. After every level, the king tallies up all the stuff you collected and then says, "My, Earth really is full of things." When I read that for the first time, I took it as a source of pride. Like, hell yeah, bro, there's a ton of cool stuff down here on Earth, and it's so beautiful, and we've made so much stuff that make it even more cool and fun to be here. But after reading the article, I can also see that this line could be like a jab at Earth. Like, man, what a shithole with so much nonsense junk that only serves to suck everything dry. Just roll it all up and throw it into space. But because this dichotomy permeates nearly everything about the game, the creator, the themes, the gameplay, I think this quote is referring to both interpretations, and I think that's really cool. Oh, and to combine the last 2 points, it's worth mentioning that while the game's attitude helped mold the gameplay, it doesn't hinder it at all. You could go through both of these games easily without ever picking up on the constrictive circumstances that led to their creation. For example, the king is just a tool for explaining the rules of each level. His often hilarious words aren't going to interfere with that incredible sense of control that I was just talking about. And what? Bro, shut the fuck up. I was trying to prove a point here. Why is that speech bubble in the middle of the screen? Well, I will say that We Love Katamari allows you to skip this text, so that's just another reason why it's 1,000 times better than the first game. I know it sounds kind of stupid to say that dialogue and story don't get in the way of gameplay or game feel or the hero's journey, if you want to use my dog-ass analogy, but I don't know, think about how many other video games love railroading you into doing a bunch of stuff you don't want to do. I don't want to do the dumbass A quests or play any water levels or tunnel vision 30 side quests because this place is about to blow up in the next cutscene and become inaccessible forever.
The most efficient way through here should be delivering shoulder impacts with your speed booster, so I'm authorizing its use.
Does this man ever shut the fuck up? Katamari, on the other hand, is a playground which allows you to play with whatever you want, whenever you want, and that is weirdly refreshing. If you want to ignore the stupid campfire levels, just don't play them. Nobody ever said you had to. You choose what to wear, what to play, how long to play it, hell, even what your objective is once the main ones become trivial. And to be clear, this isn't a dig on any of these other games. In fact, I love a lot of them, even more than Katamari. I just mean to illustrate that every great game excels at different things, and this one is amazing at making you the master of your own domain. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't mention how relentlessly charming these games are on top of all of this. The dialogue will catch you off guard and make you laugh guaranteed. Plus, there are so many creative little jokes hidden throughout every level. Whether it be a funny combination of objects, a goofy sound effect, or just the premise for a level that's like, hey, we love women, so go roll up a bunch of flowers to give them to them. Fuck yeah, dude. The music is on a whole other plane of existence. I tell you the genre of these songs, if I knew it. I just think you need to keep your ears open while playing and let the sound take you on the journey it wants to take you on. Also, the King and the Prince became household names for a reason. These designs are bold, iconic, and so original, which feeds back into their reason for conception. The games industry is lame, let's do something new. I'm paraphrasing, but like, look at this, dude. Have you ever seen anything like it even in the 20 years since the first game came out? No, nothing else plays like it, nothing else sounds like it, and it should 100% be on your media bucket list. Alright, what gives? I thought this was a video about the game that makes you happy, not an advertisement. Well, excuse me, but I can't help wanting to return the favor a little bit. See, not that it's any of your business, but these last few months have been some of the most stressful and downtrodden I've ever been through. The reason why I talked so much about Control in this video is because that's something that time and time again was taken away from me through extraneous circumstances. I can't tell you how shocked I was to read that the game that helped me navigate these hopeless feelings just came from another disgruntled employee who's just fed up with a situation that he can't control. But in a way, that's a match made in heaven. Who else could be better to comfort you than someone who truly understands what you're going through? I remember after a particularly shitty morning where a bunch of seeds of doubt were planted onto our already exhausted team, I went out to my car for lunch and grabbed the Steam Deck that I splurged on in order to celebrate 6 months of employment, and was now, ironically, bringing to lunch with me every day to help me relax. Usually I would just take a walk or something, and oftentimes I still do, but I remember on this particular day I just didn't have the energy. I started playing We Love Katamari, and I decided to play the race car driver's level, because I thought it was really funny how he was just chilling in his car on the overworld map. The level was this big racetrack with a bunch of cars lined up, and I was at like the starting line with them, so I thought, okay, that's cool. They're all gonna speed away from me, and then I'm gonna build up a bunch of stuff and then eventually swallow all of them. So that's cool, it's a fun idea, let's do it. And then I started playing, and my movement speed had been tweaked to be so much faster to where I can keep pace with these damn F1 cars. I was rolling up onlookers and haphazardly placed tires in such a goofy and chaotic fashion. It was such a simple idea that instantly made me leave all of my problems at the door, and halfway through I noticed that I was smiling on a day when I thought that was impossible. And that alone is why this video exists. Thank you. You weren't the only thing that had my back these last few weeks, but you were certainly the most unexpected friend that I made through this whole ordeal. All that is to say that I have absolutely no shame when saying buy these games, you fucking coward. No, don't turn your head away from the screen like I'm not talking to you. Every view of this video is personalized. We're the only 2 people here right now. And if you can only get one of them, We Love Katamari is one of those sequels that improves literally everything about the original while also tripling its content. I hope that it can make you guys feel the exact same way that it made me feel, and if you guys, if you have played it before, please let us know. I need more people to like back me up on this, that these games are fantastic. So yeah, have a fantastic day, and thank you for watching.
Katamari Damacy. Every day, every night, Kimi to Osama no rainbow. Yes, I know message. Everything, everybody, moto Osama no happiness. Chichi no message.
Hey, it's me, the single dad who's addicted to cool math games. A special thank you to Silent Secondary, Mr. Chocolate Salmon, and the rest of my wonderful patrons.